Raiding the Kingdom, episode 147. It's pre-Super Bowl party with Raiding the Kingdom. We're here, rocking our respective. I got my Max dope graphic tee. Coach is rocking his in Spags We Trust. We'll see if Spagnolo is the, untitled MVP of the Chiefs today. Coach, this is your day. This is your holiday.
This is my day, man.
Apparently it happens once a year. So sure.
Yeah. No, it's like my birthday. Dude, it's great to be back. I don't think any Chiefs fan would be naive enough to say that this isn't like an unprecedented run, that we're not grateful, for going to 4 Super Bowls in 5 years. There's no way, shape, or form that you can think that this isn't just an incredible run, especially because the Chiefs had like 7 playoff wins in their history before Mr. Mahomes got there. So obviously we all know Patrick Mahomes has changed his trajectory.
Trajectory. There you go.
Of the Chiefs and what they're able to do. And he's just, he's obviously been amazing. But unprecedented run, man. And to be back again is great. And to do it in the home of the Las Vegas Raiders, where
I'm gonna count how many times you make that reference.
Yeah, well,
that's one already.
I mean, that's the one thing I think that us and 49er fans are united on is our dislike of the Raiders and the fact that we're both playing in their home stadium in the Super Bowl. So it's definitely a cool feeling. But yeah, it's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be a really good game. A lot will come down to Spags' game plan. That's why we trust him. And Spags we trust. He's done great these playoffs, whether it's, shutting down the Dolphins, shutting down the Bills, shutting down the Ravens. And he's got one more test, and he's got a very good Niners team that's got a lot of good pieces on it. And he's going to have one more master game plan to help get us a win for sure.
Yeah. So there's just so much going on with this game, and, we're going to take the whole celebrity side out of it. I think that the focus should be on the players here. We're not T-Swift haters by any means, but today is about football. I'm glad money's coming to it, but let's focus on the players and the guys. That
I think I saw a stat. I think they're expecting between all the betting sites, Underdog Fantasy, pick your higher lower bets. Promo code RTK today is the day to do it. I know I sent Brendan my picks.
Ooh, I'm going to post those today.
He'll post those today. I'm always like 4 out of 5, and I'm always just arrogant enough to be like, you know what, they're going to finally hit and not take insurance, but the insurance is an option. Donate 100, get 100 back, and try and win yourself some money here on Super Bowl Sunday. Especially you Raider fans, man. Especially you Raider fans that are not getting to watch, the two teams, probably the 2 teams you might hate the most in the Super Bowl. You can at least try and make some money off of us. Again, that's promo code RTK on Underdog. But it's sick to be back, and I totally lost my train of thought. What was your question that you just asked me?
No, we just talked about how we're taking we're going to take the whole T-Swift element out of it.
Yeah, the Taylor Swift element. Oh yeah, that's what you're talking about. So Taylor Swift's there. She made it back to LA. This whole, I get it. She's the biggest pop star in the world, whether you like her music or not. That's a fact you can't really argue. But before I was a little skeptical, I'll admit that too, about her and Travis's relationship, but I do 1000% believe it's real. It's not some manufactured, deal for all that stuff, politically stuff aside, don't agree with any of that stuff politically. We don't need to get into that, but what people are believing that they're here for, I don't believe in that. It's sick to be back in the Super Bowl, and she'll obviously bring a lot more attention to it. And there's $23 billion. I thought I saw a stat that's going to be bet in this in the Super Bowl. I think I could be wrong about that. I could have my numbers off, but it's in the billions.
Sounds right. No, I saw Drake just threw
that's 1,000% plausible. Yeah,
he threw $1.15 million on the Chiefs. Drake did. So I think
Drake
did. You guys are going to lose then.
Well, the swiftness balances that out. So hopefully the Drake curse is not. Yeah, hopefully the Drake curse does not interfere with that. Otherwise, we'll have an excuse. Like the 49ers have an excuse is that they got woken up 2 days ago at 6 a.m. They're making a lot of excuses about everything, and it's sad, especially when the owner goes back to 4 years ago in the first Super Bowl against each other, and he was looking back on some calls and stuff like that. You guys just blew it. You guys couldn't get it done. So that's the bottom line. You just got to have self accountability, and just to be petty about things is pretty weak.
Yeah, that's fair. And we actually just got a couple of comments on Twitter. Just when she endorses Joe Biden for president to drive the MAGA nuts crazy. Yeah, so guys, we're not going political today. We're going to keep it on the game.
We're gonna keep it chill. This is football.
They might have confused your red. They might have confused your red hat for something else, but it says Chiefs. That's what
it says. Chiefs. Yeah.
But so, Coach, let's just get into it. So, Joe Thuney is out.
Joe Thuney's out. Nick Allegretti came in. He's been a good kind of just swing guy for this rotation. He's got a lot of experience with the guys. He did great against the Ravens. I expect him to do good against the Niners as well. Obviously, they have a pretty good between Bosa and Chase Young and some of the other guys they have on their defensive line. They have a good line.
I don't know about Chase Young right now.
Maybe not Chase. I'm just throwing names out there.
No, I'm just saying he's somebody that
he's an anomaly. Who knows how much playing time he'll get? He might have the Tony treatment.
Isn't that wild to think about? Like when they traded for him, we're like that D line because they have Javon Hargrave from the Eagles, so
Javon Hargrave, that's
the D tackle. He's getting his second shot at Mahomes in the Super Bowl back-to-back years. So that's somebody that I don't think people have talked about enough. He hasn't been out of control this year. He's on a very talented D-line last year in Philly, and obviously a talented one for the 49ers this year as well. But, all the talk is on Bosa and then Chase Young really not producing. The Chiefs are going to have to think about Hargrave coming up the middle there. I mean, luckily you got Creed Humphrey,
you got Trey Smith, and
I wouldn't.
You got Donovan Smith, and Juwan Taylor's played a lot better these playoffs. Has cut back on the penalties a lot. Which isn't really saying much because he was just every game. I feel like he had 5 penalties. So if he's down to like 2, then that's a massive improvement. But
did I see his mom passed away? He's playing for his mom. Grandma. Okay, so mom's okay.
There was a lot of confusion about that. So that's that's more motivation for him too.
Right. That's just one of the things that. So I drifted aside anyway. So Nick Allegretti is going to get the start at left tackle. Right. And then left guard, excuse me.
Yep.
And then Kadarius Toney is a healthy scratch, which you and I were talking about this morning, which guy that scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl, set up that huge punt return last year, and now he's a healthy scratch.
Right. And I think one of the interesting things that makes the season even more amazing is that, we went into the season thinking that this guy is going to be a number 1 receiver, and he hasn't been anywhere close to that, not in the same hemisphere. So for us to be here at this point, and then the guy who's going to be our number 1 receiver isn't even playing, says a lot about how they've kind of come together and figured their what out and got to this point.
Are we thinking that the healthy scratch has anything to do with the Instagram live stuff?
Potentially. I think it's just that they've been able to rock and roll without him.
Right. But that he wouldn't be worth having on the field.
He's too much of a liability at this point.
That's what I was going to ask. So not even as a decoy, they wouldn't want him out there? Like when Tyreek Hill was injured, they just had him running go routes?
If you gave me the choice, I mean, he's a healthy scratch. So I guess like he's not necessarily taking up a spot from Jet McKinnon, but 1,000 would rather have an 80% Jet McKinnon than 100% Kadarius Toney right now.
That's a pretty bold statement right there, Coach.
Yeah, I mean, because, Jet's been so reliable. He's just such a good piece for us because he does so much out of the backfield. And just he's the Jet, and Kadarius Toney has become too much of a liability. He got chance after chance. I know he had that interview. The young Jaka had the interview about how if he thinks he's a number 1 receiver, and he said, "Yeah, if I get the ball, dude." That to make that statement, I get like sometimes these questions you don't necessarily know what the next question is going to be. You're all doing this live, but you
want to portray confidence.
But I mean, dog, you don't. Ray Charles can see that you can't catch shit. So,
Daniel Davidson says, Roni, I think he means Tony, sealed his own fate with his mouth, his own fault. I don't feel sorry for him. I don't think 100%. There's any sympathy here either, Daniel.
Yeah, there's none. There's none. No. Yeah, no. I mean, he had that great punt return for us to kind of seal the deal for us last year. So we're thankful for him for that. But again, this is a business, this is pro football. Obviously, we become attached to players and we have love for them, but you got to move on and go forward. And Tony's not part of the future. So.
No. And is this the last year on his rookie deal, or should he have one more season?
Yeah, you're not obviously not gonna pick up the option. It's the last
so
year.
He's a free agent and he's gonna go somewhere.
Go to the Raiders probably. Yep.
Don't want him, but thank you. So let's go a little more deeper. So those are kind of the key players out. 49ers don't really have any noticeable absences. There was some skepticism about whether or not George Kittle was going to play. He said early in the week, we all knew he was going to play anyways. So what I put in my fantasy bet, and I had someone saying he might not play. Like, because I bet I think 6 receptions or more. No, four receptions or more. He's definitely going to play. So that's a non-issue there. So, but
and to be honest, I feel like Joe Thuney probably could have played. Mm-hmm. He just was not going to be he's probably 30-40%. If they didn't have a Nick Allegretti who they felt could go in there and do enough, I feel like Thuney would be in there. But he's got to think of his long term, and he's all pro. So Joe got us, helped get us to this point. Nick Allegretti will help close it out and still be a good enough piece on the line to help us.
Yeah. Now, as far as X factors on both teams, obviously Pat Mahomes is the guy for you. Yeah. Who would you say the X factor is for the 49ers?
For the 49ers, well, I think the X factor is going to be Debo. Because I'd seen a stat, and do not quote me exactly on this, but if he has more than 60 all-purpose yards, I think they're 12-0. So I think it's important. Yeah. It's important to contain Debo because he's just such a dynamic guy. He can run out of the backfield. He's obviously a great receiver. There's a lot of things that you can disguise with him that, Kyle Shanahan obviously knows how to use him. He's a stud.
Motions the hell out of him.
So I think, it's, the matchup, whether it be our linebackers, trying to spy him or, L'Jarius Sneed and Trent McDuffie, and Justin Reed, just all those guys in the secondary who have been amazing all year, containing him and Brandon Ayuk are going to be super important. I think low key last year, obviously if it's close in the Super Bowl as far as MVP goes, you're going to go quarterback. You're going to go Patrick, right? Nick Bolton, I felt last year probably could have easily won the MVP, right? Right? Didn't he have 2 interceptions and returned 1 for a touchdown?
Oh, yeah.
So I think Nick Bolton and Drew Tranquill, Willie Gay, who's going to be playing, are going to be super important in trying to contain Christian McCaffrey, right? Because as everyone will say, especially Raiders fans who continually tell me, oh, man, we beat you on Christmas. Congratulations.
We did beat you on Christmas, dude.
You did. You also won the Super Bowl 40 years ago, so congratulations. But it's containing Christian McCaffrey, and if we can do a good job of containing McCaffrey, which is no easy task to an extent, he's gonna get his yards. He's probably gonna get a touchdown, but to an extent, then I feel very confident that we can end up winning this game. We had a comment, didn't we, about Pacheco?
Yes. Pacheco. For the Chiefs, the 49ers allows ground yards.
Yeah, so
paves the way.
Yeah, no, 100%. Pacheco is super important. He runs angry. He's angry at the ground. So getting him consistent reps and just feeding him the ball is going to be very important.
Yeah. So I mean, you guys, I believe, if I saw,
he's eats Campbell's Chunky Soup. Remember those commercials? And just just go.
That's it. I think you guys are 31st in rushing yards allowed, as far as in Spags You Trust, as far as that goes. So I think Christian McCaffrey still though is going to be the X factor. we see so many times that
he's the X factor in any game you play.
Right.
Though,
and I don't think it's any secret. I'm not doing it. This isn't any kind of point that no one else has made the weeks leading up to this match. But I don't think that – I think we underestimate how Shanahan's able to scheme him open. And you'll see up, they just had him in motion and it's an RPO. And then it ends up being like a screen and he's wide open on the weak side of the field. And he just takes off and it's a 30-yard gain because he's so good in the receiving game as well.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of NFL guys say he's, they think he's the best football player in the game. And he shows that consistently. He's incredibly smart. The way he's able to read defenses and containing him will be super important. I have a feeling that Spags will do the best we can. We did a good job of containing Lamar the best we could last week or 2 weeks ago. And Chris McCaffrey is just dynamic, just a entity that you have to consist. You never know what's going to happen.
Right. That's one of the things I think about is that you guys, I think everyone expected that the Ravens were going to, run the ball down your throats for 3/4 of the 4, and they ended up rushing the ball 9 times. Right. So we wonder if that, the Niners might think like, oh, well, they're going to just expect them to shut down McCaffrey, and they think that Purdy's going to air it out the whole time. And
I don't think that, but I think there's going to be a good middle, a lot of blitz. Spags is going to blitz him a lot. With Chris Jones, Karlaftis. It sucks that we lost Amanu. How do you say it?
Amenahu.
Apologies, Amenahu. Sucks we lost him, but we have our first round pick going in there, and he's another name that's hard to pronounce. So Felix, that's just part of his last name, so we'll just go with that.
You were there when you drafted him.
Yeah, and it was like they said it, and it was like it's like someone sneezing. I can't pronounce it.
And Duke Uzama?
Yeah, Uzama. There you go. You're a pro, dude. You're just like my
Well, I have to listen to enough of the college stuff so I can start pick the names.
Felix, Uzama, yeah.
Because tomorrow the draft coverage starts. Today is the Super Bowl, but tomorrow is draft coverage.
Draft coverage, yes. And your obsession with Daniels is like my obsession or previous obsession with Lisa Wilson, all joking aside. But
I hate to say it. Oh, another comment from Daniel. I hate to say it, but Chiefs by 20 points. Raider Nation for life. Enjoy our field, Chiefs. No, don't enjoy the field, Chiefs.
David, I appreciate that. If we win by 20 points, we win by 20 points, I will personally send you a Raiding the Kingdom T-shirt. I don't think we're going to win by 20, but if that happens, you will get a Raiding the Kingdom T-shirt.
So, I I already said I was going to vomit live on the stream if you guys made it to the Super Bowl and we're playing on our field. So I don't know.
Yeah, where's that, man?
I didn't eat today. There's nothing to get up. But I don't know what I'll do if you guys. Yeah, I know. Well, yeah. Little product placement here. We got my Starbucks here to keep me amped up.
But let me tell you, when I was I'm not a Starbucks guy normally. When we were at the draft last year, Brennan perfectly ordered me an awesome Starbucks drink, and I was wired. So I expect that in Detroit as well, because I don't know how to say any of that stuff. So it's all you.
It's another language. It's just like saying pronounce. But yeah, that's when we went downstairs. We bumped into Mike Vick. I was too starstruck to say anything. Got us a Trenta Starbucks cold brew, and you and I were ready to rip until midnight.
We're ready to rip.
Yeah. No. So we'll be doing the same thing in Detroit for sure. And Daniel Davidson again. You're roasting today, man. They will never have a field like ours.
Yeah,
I don't know about.
We're just gonna do improvements to Arrowhead. It's not gonna look like the Death Star that the Death Star keeps getting destroyed. So that's it is what it is. But
we go and destroy other people in their own stadium on Christmas, right? Did you know that we beat you on Christmas? Are you aware?
You remind me that all the time. But I whatever floats your boat. How many times in the playoffs in the last 20 years? Yeah,
right, I don't want to talk about it. No, we did it 4. But anyways, so back to the game. So we were talking about Spagnuolo and blitzing. This is the reason, and we haven't done our final predictions. Coach and I won't get those out till the end of our episode today, which this is not going to go up until the game. We're probably going to wrap this up in a little bit. We're going to keep hanging with you guys for a little bit longer this morning. I know some of you are just waking up on the West Coast, but East Coast, it's almost 12:30. So Coach is in the Midwest, so we got 11:30 over there for all you mathematicians. Yep. One of the reasons that I unfortunately cannot. Well, can't even say unfortunately. I need both teams to lose, and I think a lot of Raiders fans feel the same way. And it's obviously not going to happen. So you got to pick one or the other. So I'm going to make my objective, take my feelings out of it. I have to pick the Chiefs to win. I'll do score at the end of our show today. But one of the reasons I just can't pick the 49ers is the Brock Purdy story is inspirational. It's cute. It's a talking point. I have made the mistake of picking against Mahomes in the playoffs before, and it's always come back to bite me, even though I didn't actually believe he was gonna really lose especially after that first win. So like the Ravens, I had a really bad feeling you guys are gonna win that game. I just think that even when you watch the media stuff, Brock Purdy has so much going on. There's so much going on during the week. There's so much off field. So much to the big moment of being on the field at that time. It's not just playing football again. It's playing the biggest game of your life. And I think that will be a little much for him. On top of that, having eight guys rushing in his face, I just don't think he's going to be as composed as Mahomes or some other quarterbacks would be.
Trent Williams can only do so much. And obviously the last couple games, the 49ers really haven't started off that good. Had to come back against the Packers, had to come back against the Lions. If you get down to the Chiefs like that, I would highly, highly, highly doubt that you're going to come back. So he has to be super composed. I get it. He's Mr. Irrelevant, right? Kurt Warner came from the Arena Football League, undrafted free agent, led the Rams to a Super Bowl, and to another one, which they lost to the Patriots when they cheated. But nonetheless, the story is cool, but it's like we're beating a dead horse at this point.
We have to be realistic.
Brock Purdy's good enough to be in the NFL. He's better than anything that the Raiders have right now at the quarterback position, and they got him in the end of this. He's Mr. Irrelevant. Brock Purdy's better than Aiden O'Connell.
I don't know about that.
You don't know about that, really?
I don't know about that. I think if you put Aiden O'Connell on the 49ers, I think you'd see the same magic happen. Kid's got a great arm. He's just give him another season. I just don't think he's going to be like
what? So we're not. So you're cheating on Mr. Daniels already, or what?
No, you didn't let me finish. I said I just don't think he's the guy that's going to lead us to the promised land. But I think if you we don't have a roster like the 49ers either. I think if you put him on a team like that, like a superhuman team, then he's going to do the same thing. I think if we did
Adams isn't better than Debo or Brandon Ayuk.
It's all comparable. Do I think that Josh Jacobs is better than Christian McCaffrey? No, I don't. Do I think our defense is
no running back better than Christian McCaffrey?
I think our defense is phenomenal. Do I think it's better than the 49ers? No. It's close, but it's not better.
Okay.
So do I think Antonio Pierce is as good a coach as Kyle Shanahan? No, I don't. Not yet. But it's coming.
It's coming. That's a topic for another day.
That is another topic for another day. But yeah, so I just don't think that it's realistic for him to thrive in this. Maybe once the game starts, I think that's kind of like you and I were athletes in high school and I did some stuff in college or whatever. Once the gun goes off, that's it. That's why I said stuff, because people would consider it sport. Once the gun goes off, it kind of changes everything. But it's still the lead up to the game, the preparation, how much you're able to focus. The Chiefs have done this time and time and time again. And Pat Mahomes is the one that sets the tempo for everybody else. And a lot of these guys have already won a ring, with even Sky Moore of all people already has a Super Bowl ring and has played in the big game. He's not going to be as phased as some other guys on the Niners. And some of the Niners have been here as well, but it was for a loss, a couple of years ago. But I think it all starts at the top. So Brock Purdy, Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, and Debo. Was Ayuk on the Niners when they lost to you guys the first time?
I think he was picked the next year. I think this is because he's still in his rookie contract.
Yeah, so I just think that regardless of how else everyone else feels, that could raise up Purdy to excel, but he himself is going to have to be composed enough to make it happen. And I just don't think against this Chiefs defense he's going to be able to. So that's why I have to pick the Chiefs. Now, as far as so we kind of went over X factors, but I think players with the most pressure on their shoulders, my answer wouldn't change for the 49ers. Like, I don't think there's a lot of pressure on Christian McCaffrey. Like, he just does what he does and he's fine. I think Purdy, the pressure is on him. He's going to be, the most looked at guy in the Niners. I think for pressure, as far as the Chiefs goes, the Rashee Rice expectations are very high. He's really turned it up in the playoffs. he's kind of become the de facto number one. Like you and I said, preseason, we thought that Kadarius Toney was going to be the top guy for the Chiefs. Obviously not, because he's a healthy scratch. But I think Rashee Rice is really going to have to step up. It's not Kelce, because I think it's the same thing. We already have high expectations of him. He's just going to have to do what he's always done. But I think Rashee Rice cannot get bottled up. I don't know what corner you think is going to travel with him. If they're going to, I think the double is going to be on your boy. What do you call him? Man Beautiful, Travis Kelce. But I think we're going to have to see what Rashee Rice is made of, because I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on him. I don't know who would follow him. Who's their top corner on the Niners?
Would be Ward, former Chief.
Oh, Travarius Ward, former Chief. That's a great matchup, actually. You think about it.
Was that?
Do you know?
Sure, when he's like, oh, it's so much easier with the 49ers. Obviously, he's not going to, pull it. Tyreek Hill would be like, oh, yeah, I really miss you boys. I shouldn't have left. Essentially is what he said there at NFL Honors.
Yeah.
Which made me smile. But, Tyreek's an idiot, but he doesn't know how to pull out. But he's not we don't have 5-year-olds listening to this.
No, you're right. We're good.
We're good. I mean, I didn't say anything too ridiculous. Pull out of his driveway. People don't know. But I'm not concerned, dude. I think Justin Watson might do something.
A number 2. There you go. Yeah, Justin Watson.
Yeah, no doubt. Mahomes, he's got to deal with his wife and Jackson Mahomes. His dad has done this twice before, so it's not like it's gonna affect his gameplay. He's locked and loaded. It's not a thing.
For those
Travis
listening
is
to
closer to his
podcasts,
mom, anyways. Patrick's closer to his mom, anyways.
Yeah, for those listening to the on the podcast version, the comment was Mahomes needs to stay focused with his dad's stuff surrounding him to win this game. I think I couldn't believe that someone did ask him the question, like, how do you feel that your father was arrested? The comments at Media Week are a little bit absurd. Like people telling Brock Purdy that he looks like the JFK assassin is insane.
Oswald, right?
Yeah, I don't know how that's allowed. You and I have been in a couple of NFL press rooms at this time, the draft. I didn't hear any questions like that for the rookies.
The Super Bowl is like a whole different beast as far as media goes. Obviously, we haven't been there yet. We could have gone last year, but nonetheless, I think just random. I mean, people are like, "What's your favorite condiment on your sandwich?"
Yeah, but even that's more reasonable though than like saying, "Hey, you look like a historical assassin." I just don't. It's not even a question. It's not even a question, really.
Allegedly.
Yeah,
there was a second shooter, but we're gonna get flagged by the NSA now. But you guys are listening.
Yeah, but anyway, so what Coach was hinting at was, so we were credentialed for Media Week at the Super Bowl last year, and due to some scheduling conflicts on my side, we could not attend. So Coach still hasn't let that go, that we weren't able to attend.
I've let it go. I just every now and then I gotta give you a little.
Right. I mean, it would have been nice if we were able to. I know, exactly. If we were able to attend. But no, I don't think that any of that stuff is affecting Mahomes. Like you said, his family has been a sideshow issue since really getting into the league. And, with the clip of his brother not getting let into some club or I don't even know what it was. He wasn't allowed into somewhere.
I have to say, like that, the GIF of Brittany just like, I think she's
not letting him in. Yeah. Well, then they said that he was hanging out in Vegas with
Travis Kelce's ex.
Yeah. Which is a whole nother level of pettiness, if that's what it is. But no, I don't think any of that stuff is going to be relevant to the game. I think what we're really looking at is Mahomes is going to be locked in. I hate to say it. Brock Purdy has a lot of expectations riding on his shoulders, regardless for how young and inexperienced he is. This is just the nature of it. And I think that's when you kind of have to stack the chips on the side of the Chiefs, which the Chiefs winning a Super Bowl in my stadium is just like hitting me like a ton of bricks. It can't happen, but it's going to. I know it is. I know. So, Coach, you said Justin Watson you think is going to have
I think Justin Watts is going to make a couple plays. And I think MVS is going to make a couple plays. I think it's just, these playoffs, MVS has made some big catches, despite making some major drops during the regular season. all can be forgiven. Just go out there, make a couple stand-up plays in the Super Bowl, and you'll be on your way next year because there's no way we're picking up your $11 million salary. But go out on a high note, come back with your second ring, and move on. But have a good game.
So now, as far as the offensive strategy this game, you've kind of already went over your defensive layout. You think, which I think would make the most sense, that Spagnuolo is going to blitz the hell out of a little young Brock Purdy over there. What do you think offensively? I mean, Andy Reid, we know, is saving some wild plays for this. Apparently, Eric Bieniemy has been brought in to kind of install a couple of offensive plays as well. I think we're going to see some stuff we haven't seen all year. What do you think? Oh, Daniel Davidson just said, "I'll look for my shirt when the Chiefs win by 20." So he wants a shirt, coach.
We got you, dude.
Are you think it's going to be the Isaiah Pacheco Bowl, or are we going to see Mahomes airing it out? I anticipate seeing Mahomes putting in a lot of first downs on his feet. That's just my theory. I think that the 49ers coverage is going to be solid.
I can see that too. Patty likes to run in the playoffs. That's when he just gets up and go. I mean, people realize obviously he's able to evade, getting hit in the pocket, but he's fast too when he gets outside of it as well. He's good at, not taking hits when he's outside of the pocket too. So hopefully he continues to do that. I still, Travis Kelce's been kind of reborn this playoffs. It's the biggest stage of the year. He's never wanted a Super Bowl more. He has obviously already got two. Just been kind of not a typical Travis Kelce season. And it does look like him sitting out that last game and avoiding getting, the 1,000th yard, or like would have been his 9th straight year of 1,000 yards, worked out for him to rest. And he's looked a lot better this playoffs than he has. But biggest stage of the year, all eyes on you. Got your girl in this, in the suite that you paid for. I'm like, bro, why are you paying for that, man? I guess I'm sure the billionaire Taylor Swift has paid for all the other boxes, so he has to, take care of that one.
But I kind of thought of that rumor that was sparked that and I heard that rumor that was sparked that he split everything like 50-50 with his ex-girlfriend who wasn't a billionaire, and now he's paying for the $2.5 million suite for his billionaire girlfriend. Ironic. But I think
it's for his whole family too.
Sure. Well, his brother could have chipped in too. I think we went a little off key there. But do you think the offensive strategy is going to focus on the pass or the run, or are we going to see?
Sorry, we're going on. I'm trying to.
Well, I thought maybe you were going to. Well, we don't have to kill. We got plenty to talk about. Is Kelce going to be the central focus per usual?
I think the Niners will do everything they can to stop him.
Yeah.
Whether it's putting Fred Warner on him or whatever, but Travis Kelce will eat. But I think low key, my sleeper is going to be Noah Gray.
You think Noah Gray?
Noah Gray. I think Noah Gray.
He's come up in big moments when you least expected it, and I see that. And
I think there's gonna be some disguises, and it's gonna be Noah Gray getting the touchdown or getting the big play. Travis will get his, but I think Noah Gray. So the pass game will be important. They'll have to have the run and a good balance, but I think Patrick on it in his arm and feet will
60-40 pass is what we're going to see.
Yeah, I think
50-50, but not as high as like an 80-20. We're not going to air it out all day. No. I think you got to mix it up with this defense. So I watched a film study the other day, and it kind of talked about the efforts to contain Kelce and how it has to be done. And usually it's a linebacker that, an off-ball linebacker that can cover, like Fred Warner, with a safety dropping down, or a sizable, or at least a sticky corner, and then the safety dropping down kind of to help out cover Kelce, where I guess in the past they've seen they would double, like say they double Rashee Rice, but then taking the guy off Kelce is what's really going to break your back. And I don't know if that even is enough to do it. I think that, like, for example, I mean, we've seen other games where Kelce got locked down, and it wasn't because they were doubling him. It was because whatever singular player they had covering him, it was man coverage. He wasn't leaving him, and it was tight. So you could do man coverage, but if the corner isn't going to be able to, or, linebacker, whoever you want on him, isn't going to be able to effectively bat the ball down, because Mahomes isn't going to misfire and like throw a pick, targeting Kelce, then it's not going to work. So what it comes down to is, what guys do you have that can specifically stick with Kelce, because we know he thrives in zone. He'll find that gap, he'll find the weak spot, the soft spot, and get in there. So like I remember the Raiders drafted Jonathan Abram, the safety, because they thought he would be able to physically take on Kelce and also guard him in pass pro. Physically, he could hang with him. In pass pro, not so much. He was not effective in coverage. If so, he could tackle him for sure, but Kelce is a yards after catch man, and that's how it goes. So I just don't know if they have the personnel to do it. Fred Warner's going to have his hands full tonight. I don't know if you think doubling, or if they have that singular guy, like you said, Travis Ward's probably going to be lent over to
Wilkes isn't an idiot. He's a good D coordinator. It's just going to be a battle, man. It's not. I don't think it's going to be a blowout on either end.
No.
It's just going to be. It's going to come down to. I think it could come down to the kicking game. And I'm going to ride on Harrison Butker over Jake Moody all day, every day, and twice on Sunday today. 100%.
So yeah. So let's start to wind it down towards our final predictions here. What was the over-under? 47?
I believe so.
Total points.
Here, I'll give you the exact number
Give me the exact number right now, because I know that this has fluctuated. And while we're going over that, let's talk. While you're looking that up, let's talk very quickly about some of our picks. So we hopped on Underdog Fantasy, and we got our picks in. So mine, I went
47.5.
47.5. All right. So I targeted, let me see. I went 3 Chiefs and 2 49ers. I went Chris Jones with a sack, George Kittle higher than 4 receptions, Pat Mahomes. I went lower than 261 passing yards. I think that's where I might have messed myself up. I also went Kelce under 7 receptions and Christian McCaffrey with a tud. So those are my 5 Underdog Fantasy picks, promo code RTK. I could see 2 going south there. I think there's a potential Kelce could have more than 7 receptions, and Mahomes will definitely pass for more than 260. I think that's where I could have messed myself up. But Chris Jones, I think, is going to hit a sack for sure.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna do my 5 real quick. So I'm gonna do Harrison Butker higher than 1.5 field goals made. I'm gonna do Deebo Samuel higher than 5 receptions. I think he'll get the ball. Rashee Rice, I'm high as a kite, right? I'm going higher than 66.5 receiving yards for Mr. Rice. Higher than 51.5 receiving yards for Travis Kelce. I think you'd have that in the first half. And I think Mr. Pacheco is going to run for over 69 yards. So that's what I rolled with. I typically just roll with the higher because I think this game is not going to be super low scoring. I think it's going to be, we're going to go to scores here in a second. But there'll be points on the board. There's going to just be some big defensive stops. It's going to, be the deciding factor when it matters most, because what's the shirt say?
In Spags we trust. Well, you trust. I don't trust him. Just a random side note. Why did he not get any coaching interviews?
I do find that a little bit weird. But I think, at this point, I think the NFL for the most part is just, it seems like they're going with younger guys overall. Who's the oldest coach that was hired?
Dan Quinn.
Yeah. Dan Quinn would be the oldest one, and he's.
But whose defense was more impressive this season, the Chiefs' defense or the Cowboys?
The Chiefs, but I think Quinn. Granted, he blew that Super Bowl. He had a lot more success as a head coach than Spagnuolo did, and I think Spagnuolo is just ultimately at this point in his life. I think he's just the perfect D coordinator. He's got a perfect situation in Kansas City. He's goes way back with Andy Reid, and I think he's just comfortable there. I think if someone asks him, yeah, but if you look at Raheem Morris, I was going to say, if you look at defensive coaches, a lot of defensive coaches got head coaching jobs. Pierce, Raheem Morris, Dan Quinn, who else? It was probably split, right? This is the Callahan was an offensive guy. But anyways, where I'm going is that, you see a lot more younger coaches out there getting hired. And, I know Quinn's not young, but yeah, I think there's like a perception that Spagnuolo is probably just better off being a D coordinator, and that's fine.
It's just interesting because a lot of the other ones still got a shot there. And the Ravens.
McDonald,
Mike McDonald, with the Seahawks.
Young guy,
the young guy though. You're right. So that was just a curiosity. So I'm going to take the over. I'm going to say the final score is 27-24 Chiefs. And as I said then, and I'll say it now, I hate to pick them. I don't want them to win in our stadium. This is the ultimate bone crusher for me as a Raiders fan. But I have to go with my gut, and I know a lot of Raiders fans are going up, faithful to the Bay, all that nonsense. They hate the Niners more than anybody. So I'm going to ride with my West Coast people, and I'm going to have to say the Chiefs are going to take it. I can't bet against Pat Mahomes again, as much as I dislike that odd little frog. I'm going to have to go with Mahomes and the Chiefs, and this will just be another horrible actually not even off season, because you guys will get to say this all year long about how you got another W and another, because this will be your third Super Bowl, franchise Super Bowl. So you'll tie us with 3 if you win this.
No, this will be our 4th. Yep.
Okay. All right. I just needed a minute.
Yep. This would be our 4th. So we would actually be ahead of you, and you guys did good in the 70s and 80s. So I'm obviously going to take the Chiefs too. I'm sitting here thinking, am I going to go this score? Am I going to go this score? I am going to go Chiefs.
Oh, I forgot you had one in 1970. Wow, cool.
70?
That was your first Super Bowl, I guess, if we're counting that old.
Well, when of that? What years did the Raiders win Super Bowls?
We don't have to talk about that. I mean, 76 was the first one, and then 80, and then 84. I don't know, dude. Does that one count? I thought your first one was your Super Bowl in
Super Bowl 4.
Nice. The cutoff should be 70, 76 when the Raiders win.
Okay, whatever you say.
Okay, so give me your final score.
Man, I'm teetering. I'm going to go Chiefs 30, the Raiders, not the 49ers 24.
Jerk. So you're going 30-24. I'm going 27-24. We're both picking the Chiefs.
And I think Purdy will be driving at the end of the game, and I think Chris Jones is going to come in, get a sack. He's going to fumble it. Chiefs are going to win.
That's going to be the end.
That's going to be the end.
Then the ending. Oh, well, I'll get my.
That's a script. That's in the script. That's what I saw.
That's in the script, and then I'll get my Chris Jones sack payout. So I'll take that.
Yeah, exactly. You'll get your Chris Jones sack payout, and Brett Veach wants him back. Him and Snead. Pat's about to restructure. He ain't going to the Raiders, dog.
Bro,
Stone Cold ain't going to the Raiders.
Snead's gonna. If you guys win, Snead's gonna get a top contract, and he's out. Chris Jones is gonna get a lot of paid. He's gonna be out. And then the dynasty of the Raiders.
He's just going to be out.
He's going to be out. After the Raiders select Jaden Daniels, number 3. It's going to be great. So this is the final football game of the year. I'm extremely depressed, but also, I mean, this is a win for you. You get the Super Bowl today, and then as of tomorrow, we get to start our free agency and draft coverage, and things get real. And but let's just enjoy today. I'll be checking in with you all game, Coach. You're not working, I assume. What do you got set up for tonight? No. What is tonight's setup? Are you going to a buddy's house? Are you hosting? What are you doing? Lost Coach for a minute. Just lost him. All right. That's the end, people. You got our score. Oh, here you go. You're back.
We're back.
You're back.
I'm right here. I'm back. So yeah, just keeping it low key. I don't think I'm doing anything crazy. Especially for big games like this. My team's not in the Super Bowl, which hasn't happened recently. I like going to parties, but when I'm laser focused.
Oh, so you're going to be at home doing your thing.
Most likely. I might go to a party. I don't know, but it's
You're going to want to focus. I mean, what's going to be tough is like, I've said on here, I hate when the Raiders play primetime, like Monday night, Sunday night, because then everyone's blowing up my phone because it's the only game to watch. I mean, the stage is on them, but the stage is also on you. So maybe turn that. Well, you don't want to turn the phone off, but it's going to be a wild night. I'm hoping for a competitive game and just not something like that Patriots-Rams Super Bowl. That was one of the worst ones. It was so boring. So let's not have anything like that.
Let's not have.
Yeah, I mean, at least you guys put together entertaining Super Bowls, so I'm excited to watch regardless. You know, and then this is the end of the 2023 season, and we're on to our off-season coverage and all that other stuff. But for now, we'll let you enjoy your night and see what happens at my home field.
And one more thing, prices are dropping. You can get a ticket for about $6,820. Use promo code RTK at SeatGeek and get it for $6,820 or $6,800.
I saw Legionnaires offering flights out of Vegas today for $56. So, you know, if you want to, I don't know if you'll make it. No, you're making a time. Fly out right now to Vegas, $50. There you go. But yeah, so that's the end of the show for today. I will be watching as well, going to a little party. So we won't be live streaming during the game. We're going to let Coach focus in and watch his team.
Got to be laser focused. I guess that was my internet that keeps going out, but we're good to go.
I'm glad we're good to go since we're still here. But that's it, people. Thank you for tuning in. We'll post this. You can listen to this on the podcast version. It'll be hosted on YouTube, etc. Final game of 2023. That's it. And then it's to off-season coverage we go.
Yeah, Coach, good luck tonight, bud. It's going to be fire.
It is.
Chiefs. Can I get a let's go Chiefs?
No.
How about
Raider
let's
Nation.
not go 49ers?
No, I can't say that either.
Let's not go 49ers.
I can't say that either because that leads favoritism to you. I will root for you to be a happy guy tonight because you're my friend and my co-host and we're buddies, but I cannot root for – when people say, what team am I going to root for? I can't root for either of these teams. You root for your home team, your one team, and that's it. I'm rooting for the Raiders, baby. That's it. Yeah. Good night, everyone. Good luck. Have fun.
Good day, sir.